I'll be speaking about it's a review of digitalization using artificial intelligence maturity models. The case of American automotive SMEs. So when we talk of digitalization, there are other terms like digitization and then digital transformation. So digitization is the process of changing from analog to digital form. So digitalization is the use of digital technologies to change a business model and provide new revenue, value producing opportunities to organizations. So it's a process of moving to a digital business. So there is a difference between digitization and digitalization. And so as the companies implement digital technologies, people's jobs change. So some factory workers are more moving towards computer controlled equipment. And that is at the heart of digitalization. So automation becomes a part of the digitalization story. So digitalization increases process efficiency and improves data transparency. So if you look at American scenario, we have companies like Hewlett Packard, Dell Technologies, Cognizant, and Equinix and SAP. So these are highly digitalized organizations. Hello? Yeah, so these are highly digitalized organizations. So I'll be today discussing about American automotive SMEs, artificial intelligence maturity models, digital strategy. When I talk of strategy, say Porter's the generic strategies can be cost leadership, differentiation, focus. So digital strategy can be for differentiation, differentiating from another firm, digital transformation using firm inversion. So when I talk about firm inversion is say a CEO not looking inwards in his organization, he's looking outwards towards all the other stakeholders who are outside his organization getting digitized. So that is about firm inversion. And then there is a literature review, so comparison of existing maturity model. And then finally, it's about Industry 5.0. So how organizations should move away from Industry 4.0 to 5.0 and how they can assess themselves. So I'll be speaking about American automotive SMEs. So they form the backbone of the American automotive manufacturing firm hub. So if you look at American automotive scenario, we have organizations like Ford, Jeep, GM, Chevrolet, Dodge. So these SMEs form the backbone for these big industrial corporations. So there are efforts, of course, about upskilling workers and retooling skills, and there are countries which are also globally supplying, so there is a lot of competition everywhere. So SMEs are trying to compete with the global supply chain. So the one thing that comes to them is AI advances and implement them. They have financial constraints and complexity of technology adoption. So new AI techniques are progressing, and if you look at the market, it's forecast to be almost $10 billion in the coming few years. So there is a AI in manufacturing. It brings in ecological friendliness, productivity, and quality of life can be improved. But not 100% of the organizations are interested in digital transformation. So in future, depends, like if they can be brought into the fold, it will be a better world. So the number of Americans working for SMEs are in millions, and these are almost 50% of the total number of Americans employed in the country. And no other manufacturing sector generates so many American jobs. So also the sales of cars and trucks are increasing. So this gives more incentive for SMEs to look forward with a long-term vision. So digital strategy, it's everywhere. It's almost like a 70-20-10 rule. So people are responsible for 70% of the effort, and 20% is getting the right data. Technology is only 10%. So people are the focus of the digital strategy. It can be upskilling them. It can be other things, bringing them, the changing their mindset, culture. There are so many things people. That's why people make up almost 70% of the effort. Because if there is a inclination to bring in inertia, reluctance to change, that may be not good for the long-term vision of the organization. Now, I was talking about firm inversion. So here, organization CEO is there. So he has an internal ecosystem where he can think of digitalization or digital transformation. But if he can think of the external ecosystem where he has so many other external, it can be vendors, different organizations dealing with this organization. If they can be digitalized, they can think of in terms of digital transformation. The whole ecosystem works hand in hand, then there is a much more value brought in. So this firm inversion is the need of the hour. The organizations nowadays are thinking more about inward and trying to be digitalized. But the future-looking CEO has to think in terms of firm inversion. He has to think of all the stakeholders, not internal. He has to think of the external stakeholders also. So now, when we talk of assessing the artificial intelligence, say where the organization stands today, then we can use a tool like maturity model. So these tool, it helps the measure how competent the business or project is doing and how capable or skilled they are of continuous improvement. So performance evaluation tool, this can help the organization improve efficiency and identify areas of improvement. So artificial intelligence, there are many AI maturity models in the market. It can vary from Microsoft, Nokia. There are so many, but those are for different areas. It can be some can be for manufacturing, some can be for retail. So there are different. The way the maturity model is built, it can be built on different dimensions. So organization can, there are different levels, there are different stages in this maturity model. So organizations can move from initial level to a higher as they move in the digital transformation. So digitalization is the use of digital technologies to change a business model. Now, the research questions when an organization is assessing itself. So, these are the research questions they have to ask themselves. How can AI maturity model be used in their domain? What stages are seen in different maturity models in the literature review? What are the essential goals of maturity models in the AI domain? So AI has a significant impact on business, but taking an end-to-end approach is the best way to make it. And embracing artificial intelligence that is tailored to each organization's starting point. Now, if we take a SWOT analysis of the American SMEs, this study is more focused on American small and medium enterprises. So we look at the strengths and weaknesses and opportunities and threats. Threat-wise, there is intense competition. There are manufacturing hubs shifting. It's shifting to China, India, and other countries. So there is always this global supply chain is a threat to American SMEs. And then these SMEs have limited financial capabilities, so they have a lack of R&D infrastructure, high investments costs, and opportunities can be government support is there for these SMEs, and these strengths can be these are flexible organization structure and easier to adapt. So if you look at Ford or General Motors, they have a big organizational structure, so which may not be so flexible. Now, when we look at the Porter value chain, so there is inbound logistics to services. So each, not thinking of the total, if we break it down into parts, like inbound logistics is digitalized, then operations. So each can be independently digitalized, and then look at the whole organization, how much ahead it is than their competitors. So instead of thinking total, we should go piecewise. Now the literature review was done. So in the literature review, the there were a lot of journals and papers referred to, and most of these the dimensions that was looked at was connectivity, resilience, sustainability, expansive growth, strategy, leadership, customers, culture, and production. So these available maturity models in the market presently, these were looked at based on these dimensions and where they were lacking, and how in the future an maturity model can be built for automobile SMEs. So all these dimensions were looked at. So if we go, so these were shortcomings in the dimensions. If you look at some were short on, some maturity models were short on production, some on resilience, some on sustainability. So these are industry 4.0. So in the future, these shortcomings can be looked at. Now let's look at Nokia. So Nokia, this is the available maturity model in the market. So when we look at it has 8-dimensional framework. So it has AI data strategy, operation analytics and insights, data security governance, and skills and machine learning based automation. So it has looked at the organization, how they will move forward. So the organization should have a AI data strategy, then data security, how much importance the organization gives to data security, governance, operations. Those are dimensions which Nokia thought were more important. Each maturity model which is available works on different dimensions, different organizations, different sectors. So these are based on strategy, operations, and experience. If you look at Microsoft, so Microsoft has defined maturity models, 4 levels they have defined. So an organization can be at the foundational level, approaching aspirational mature. So organization say, which is at foundational level, it has to think in terms of a cultural shift. It can be a cultural mindset which of the skilled workers that can help them change then. So next can be approaching, hopeful on AI and its promise. Then aspirational. They have already experimented and they are reaching higher level. Mature is organizations like I spoke before, SAP and Dell. Those are organizations which are at the mature level. Now, another maturity model can be AI novice, AI ready, AI proficient, and AI advanced. So what I'm trying to show is different maturity models are for different sectors and they have different levels depending on what sector they are trying to be in. Now, I was talking about Industry 4.0. Now, let's talk about Industry 5.0. So, the maturity model for the future has to be in tune with Industry 5.0. So, Industry 5.0 is looking at human centric, resilient, sustainable. Now, what do I mean by human centric, resilient, and sustainable? Human centric means generally focusing on the humans who are at the heart of what the organization does. And with the say, let's talk of organization like Airbnb. So they have almost 150 million users. So they have a user-friendly interface, and they are able to communicate with the people they are dealing with. So it's a more human-centered approach that has given them the foothold in the market. So basically, the needs of expectations of shareholders, employees, and customers have evolved and need to meet these new demands. What is sustainable development capable of being maintained at a steady level without exhausting natural resources? Governments and businesses are working on sustainable goals like reducing their footprints and conserving resources. So, environment sustainability stresses the importance of maintaining life support systems, such as the atmosphere and soil. Resilience, its ability to adapt to challenging experiences. For an organization, challenging experiences can be anything from earthquake to any other event. Even COVID happened, a lot of organizations went down, so they were not resilient enough. But it was seen during COVID times that many organizations were highly digitalized, and they could withstand the whatever happened at that time. So they were resilient. So it's important for the organizations to be flexible, adaptable, and perseverant. So maturity model examines the preparedness of the organization and describes the failings. So have organization have to now when say a certain I showed 2 3 maturity models. So how does an organization know where they stand? This can be through a survey, through experts knowledge, and they can have their own employees uh, telling about their strength and weaknesses. So there are multiple ways organization can find out where they stand in the competition. There is, of course, so much competition in the US market. So organizations have to know where they stand and then look at their weaknesses and move on. So basically, the this will guide 5.0 will guide through how to move forward and become a value-driven organization. So there is a need to assess as per industry 5.0, which is the future evolution, and build a more human-centric and resilient and sustainable industry. Uh, this also has to include the electric vehicles. If you look at American market, there are companies like Tesla, and there are other Tesla is in more in cars, but there are other electric vehicles also. It can be in even in aviation and even in trucks. So this 5G also is bringing in lower latency. If you look at automation within the factory, so 5G can have an effect, and in future 6G will open up new business opportunities for many organizations. So, in future, AI technologies are expected to uplift production by 40%. So, this will increase the economic development of organizations, and AI can help humans surpass on many tasks, and especially in factory automation. Manufacturing is one area where AI can help, especially within the factory and supply chain network. The automotive industry in America is highly competitive because there are organizations like General Motors, Chevrolet, Ford, but there are other organizations also from European organizations, Japanese, there are Chinese. There are so many organizations worldwide which are giving very lot of competition. So American SMEs have to bring in artificial intelligence and move forward. So this topic was basically focused on SMEs and American automotive SMEs, and how they can utilize artificial intelligence and new technologies from 5G, 6G to achieve a level of digitalization, and they must collaborate and work. These were the references I used. Thank you.